Well, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to make sure that we have sound and we have available connection. So I'm double checking. If you are watching, please tell us where you're watching. Where are you supporting this webinar? Our webinars are every Wednesday come here. We come here live with different career partners, different resources, different members and allies who are trying to help us all navigate the career journey. Our goal is to connect job opportunities, partnerships, but of course, raise awareness about creating employment pathways for all Blue Star Career members. I'm Laura Torres from Blue Star Careers. Thank you so much for watching. And also to remind you, this month we are highlighting mission driven careers and also those very intentional leaders who are doing this purposeful work and creating nonprofit work or just simply pathways that would help you, our job seekers, and our members engage in more intentional career programming. Today, we're delighted to welcome Service to Success. This organization is a mission-driven focused approach, empowers veterans, military spouses, and anyone looking to really engage in intentional work and job search purpose. They thrive their military careers through personalized support and mentorship. Dr. Nicole Dhanraj will be here today. She's going to lead our discussion about her work at Service to Success. So we are very excited to meet her and support her career mission, but also learn more about her organization and the team that she supports. But also, I want to remind you, we are celebrating our first anniversary in the neighborhood, the new community where we have been supporting and leading more resources, sharing with our members through very intentional programming. We're celebrating this month. So join the Resource Scavenger Hunt, participate in a chance to win some swag, but also share with us how you have either benefited or you are looking to benefit from some of our resources. So without further ado, let's get started. We love to be able to send shout out to you again. Please post where you're watching. We love to be able to recognize you and also thank you for the great work that you do as Blue Star Career members. Let's begin. Well, hello, hello. Once again, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. I know we have members active on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. And a big shout out for all of those who are watching in our digital community. You know exactly why we're there. So let's see those comments come in. Although they will not show up here in the live, we are monitoring those here. So please, thank you so much for supporting. I'm very delighted to welcome Dr. Nicole today from Service to Success, who is representing and is going to tell us all about her incredible work. So thank you so much for supporting. But first, Dr. Nicole, if you would please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more about your military connection or your passion, but also more about your career trajectory.
Yes. Welcome. Thank you, everyone, for having me. And it is a pleasure to be here and support the work that you all are doing and hopefully providing golden nuggets that you could take on and leverage your career, your journey. And that's exactly where I started, trying to figure out, well, really what I want to be when I grow up. And I knew I wanted to be a vet. This was many, many years ago. I'm actually from the Caribbean. I came to the US when I was 18 from Trinidad in search, of course, of the American dream with the intention of being a vet. Unfortunately, after working about 2 years, multiple jobs, trying to volunteer at the same time, I didn't have the qualifications to go to vet school as well as the finances. And that's where my military journey started. A friend suggested, hey, you know what? Check out the military. They're offering bonuses because I was struggling financially. And lo and behold, Nicole checking out the military was me signing that contract. Had no clue of the military. And that's really where my journey got started. Fortunately, I had a great career. I got into healthcare. And upon leaving that, really figuring out my way as I left there, my transition, it wasn't like super ideal. Had to figure out the resume, the networking, all of that. And many years later, finding myself where gosh, I'd like to give back in some way, help people avoid the bumps that I face. And especially with mentorship, I really had no guidance growing through my career. And I stumbled upon Act Now Education. And that was almost 5 years ago. I've been a volunteer there, helping support service members and their spouses, and of course, dependents. And it morphed into the service to success side. So I'd be happy to share that journey a little bit more in depth. But yeah, starting as, a little private in the army, leaving as an E5 enlisted, but really in learning from the journeys and now giving back quite a bit to the community at large.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I apologize because I asked you, is it military allied okay to refer to you? But no, thank you for your service. You're so modest and so humble. You did not recognize your active service as well. So thank you so much for that, for your support, but also for your leadership. I mean, what an incredible journey you had, and a very relatable to our story for some of our career members. So thank you so much for what you do, for volunteering, and for, of course, leading the way. And we look forward to expanding more discussion. But I do want to know a little bit more about how did you get involved to service to success? I know we're going to learn a little bit further more, go more in details. But one of the things that I'm always curious with great leaders like you is why was this such a good fit? What was your why that trigger one day, woke up and you're like, oh, I got to do this? What made you, or what led you to this decision?
Well, I'll go back several years again, starting with the Act Now journey. So, Act Now Education is, of course, the nonprofit that is considered to be the resources for resources. And that's really where my journey, I would say, truly started in the nonprofit sector. I dabbled in a few things before, but really feeling purposeful work. And of course, with our founder, Jay Salters, seeing the work that he had done and saying, oh gosh, I'd like to be part of that. But interestingly enough, I didn't feel like I had something to give anybody. But I remember several years ago, a colleague saying, Nicole, even if you had 1 day, 1 hour, 1 month of experience compared to somebody else, you have a lot that you can share. And recognizing, okay, let me look at my career journey. Let me look at it. The bulk of my career has been in healthcare, but there's so much that I can share. There are so many tidbits. And believe it or not, I was quite introverted and not very open in sharing. And recognizing the community, I think that just showed me, wow, there's so much that you can share. My knowledge is quite vast across various industries, and recognizing that there is a lot of people out there just want tidbits of information. You don't necessarily need to be the expert. So that fired up something in me. So to your question of how did I know this was for me, it's just really seeing the impact. You're having one conversation, and I always tell people you never know where one conversation would take you. And recognizing, oh, because of you, Nicole, I was able to find clarity, or because of you, I was able to get this job. And I was like, wait a minute, I can have that impact. And, when that starts amplifying twofold, fivefold, tenfold, you recognize this is where I want to be. And right now, I volunteer almost about 45% of my time. And that's a huge chunk. And this is unpaid volunteer work. So you can see how much this resonates with me, that I want to make a difference in someone's life. And in my radiology career, I typically tell people, I like to save the world one x-ray at a time. And it's quite a lofty goal. But it just became very important to me, is that you never know the impact you would have with someone. So now I do dedicate a lot of that effort with the nonprofit side. Now, Service to Success came out as a result of all the work we've been doing in Act Now, recognizing that employers are saying, hey, wait a minute, how do we tap into your community? I need people like that hired. So we were able to now ensure that we can have multiple options for the service member. For those of you watching that is unsure about Act Now Education, that's an organization, nonprofit, that has about 75,000 service members. Includes, of course, active duty veterans and their spouses, providing a lot of free resources. Well, I should say all of free resources to the military population. What does that look like? Coursera education, mastermind to help you level up if you're looking for career transition. So right now we have a 4-week mastermind going on. vouchers, upskilling, reskilling across different industries. So consider it to be like your Swiss Army knife for anything that you want, a huge community providing that support. On the services success side, we're really drilling on making sure that we have a pipeline of talent going out to the civilian community, federal contractors, public, local government, all of those jobs. So being able to provide a pathway. Why? We know how difficult it is for people to get jobs, right? And it's a daunting task to do on your own. So, why not do it with somebody who understands those challenges, who can help you translate the skills, who can advocate on your behalf? And again, we're putting on those hiring fairs, like I said, the masterminds, having hiring fairs, local and virtual, but also being an advocate that if I know that you're looking for a project manager job, for example, being able to leverage that. And Lauren, let me tell you, we have had so many, especially military
Yeah.
spouses, they have a huge gap in their career, didn't have like a project management formal background or cybersecurity IT background. They've gone through one of our programs and being able to find a job. Can you imagine how like elated they are, especially thinking, I didn't have all of this work experience because I've been at home with the kids. So when you look at all of that work, there is no greater joy than to continue doing it. So it really fuels you on different levels. So
Wonderful. This is such a great resource, and yes, we are super thankful and honored to have Act Now Education as a connection as well, and of course you, a goodwill ambassador of this great organization, to share all these amazing resources and to be connected with you. I do want to know more about the mastermind group that you have going on. It just briefly explain to us, why would we want to perhaps explore this type of setup a little bit farther to really get into a career purpose or a career search more intentional? We get all these, sometimes we get all these very sort of a troublesome situations within career challenges, applications. We feel defeated, or sometimes we just said, look, Laura, I just simply want a job. Who can hire me? But I think right now there's a little bit more just I don't know, just troublesome or challenging or more intentional way for employers to really select candidates. Why would a mastermind instead of a cohort purposeful training be more important for a job seeker?
yeah, so most of us, we understand job seeking based on experience, right? We've never really gone through a class of what it takes to sell yourself, to interview, to put a resume together. And a lot of us, too, may not have that gusto or that confidence to sell yourself. So a mastermind helps put together key strategies. So you're not just throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping something sticks. So many times I hear people say, "Oh, I've applied for 200 resumes and I haven't gotten anything back." Well, we got to look at your strategy. Everything to get success requires some type of strategy. Think about cooking. I think I'm a really good cook, but if I were to follow a recipe, I could take my cooking from 0 to 100 pretty quickly. So that's essentially what a mastermind would do. And the way we structure it is based on exactly what the service member need. We start with mindset. This is no easy journey, especially in today's market. You recognize that you have so much competition. How do you weed through all the noise? Getting the resume put together, your LinkedIn profile, how to network, especially for those that are the introverts out there or just don't like putting themselves out there. How do you interview? How do you show up your body language? Listen, I wasn't, like I said, very extroverted. So that's a learned skill for me, and being able to really help some. I'm right now a product in front of an interview panel. So you need to be able to highlight your features, your unique selling proposition, and being able to sell that not only to get the job, but to get a good compensation package as well. So, navigating that journey with other like minded people who understand your similar struggles, because in that we have, again, veterans, it could be from 1 year of service to 25 plus years. We have mill spouses in there. And having a community where you could feel comfortable in sharing, everybody understands your journey. I think it's key there. When you find your tribe, you can go definitely further as opposed to doing this on your own and getting that one-on-one feedback, right? I hear a lot of my mentees was like, oh my gosh, Nicole, you tore up my resume. But the intent is, how do we help you get 1% better each time?
Wonderful. That is fantastic, fantastic news. I think I want to join one of your master class just so that we can stay competitive. This is fantastic. So that we can really, really intentional do that. And I know a lot of individuals, we, like you said, they apply 200, 300, or 6 months goes on, and then you start questioning your worth, you start questioning your credibility, you start questioning just the process in general. So I think this is such a good intentional in very well much resources needed. So now you are going to share a little bit more with us. We have a little bit more to learn about all the great work that you're doing as well through Act One, and we have a couple of more visuals to share in just a few minutes. But tell us a little bit more about other resources that someone from our community should like. Let's say they're transitioning in the next 6 months. They're prepping now. They're going to get out of the military, spouse and service member. What should either one of them or both engage in when it comes to career services now in today's market?
Yeah, the first thing, I have a lot of resources for you, but the first thing is find yourself a community like us, Act Now Education, where you find a variety of resources to help you figure out what is the next step. Maybe your background is in logistics and perhaps you are, tired of that. Maybe you did that years ago and you want to come back into it. Maybe you were a stay-at-home mom for the last, or a stay-at-home dad for the last 10 years, and now you're trying to figure out what next. Well, then our resources, you can dabble into different courses, see what you like. You can try different cohorts as well, informational interviews, and all of that you can get from our community. But you can also get from Mill Mentor. That is a site where you can find a mentor. And I advise getting a few of them across different industries. So if you're, for example, my background is healthcare, HR, education, business. I mean, I do quite a bit. So if you want to understand, well, hey, what is life like in as an adjunct professor? Or what is life like? I'm thinking about starting my business. Finding key people, either mentors or just anybody around that you can ask for, give me, 15 minutes of your time, or can you answer me some questions on LinkedIn and understand exactly how did they get into it? What do they suggest? What is the trajectory of that industry in the next few years? How do they recommend getting started? I mean, that's definitely your first step, figuring out what do you want to do next. And you can do so in the community or with the Mill Mentor site. Mill Mentor is free. There's no reason that you shouldn't have at least 2 to 3 mentors in your life. Even as experienced as I am, I make sure that I make time for a mentor at least a couple times a month. And that can be a formal mentor or it could be informal. So you can have a very structured path, or you're just touching base to make sure you're on the right path or if you're getting stuck. The next one is attending the orientations from Act Now. That happens every Saturday, and you can check on the website. But essentially, you are there, and every weekend, it can be a little bit different, but you have a lot of different resources being shared to you. We have maybe how to leverage your VA loan. You're looking to move. We're looking at, for example, we've had some HR scholarships. We've had degrees given out, the certifications. So you get to lean in first, listen, observe, understand, okay, what is available to me? It's almost like coming to the buffet and you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out, what do I want to try first? Or maybe this is new. I haven't thought about it. So you have that community there that you can listen into subject matter experts, just like you have here, and you're getting more insights into what is out there. So based on, what we have that week, but also if you're now ready to pick a career path, you can say, okay, maybe I'll apply to the HR cohort or the project manager cohort, or maybe I'm still trying to figure this out and I'll apply to the mastermind. So those are the top two things. The last thing I would say is making sure, of course, we beat this on the head multiple times. Network, network, network. I recently got actually, the last 3 years, I've gotten quite a bit of work through a network. And it's a friend of a friend that's saying, or somebody saw me somewhere, we had a conversation and that followed up. So you never know. Again, I cannot stress that enough where a conversation would take you, but being open to asking. Nicole, I'm transitioning. I've been in the service for X amount of years, or I've been a mill spouse. I really don't know where to get started. Do you have any insights of maybe who can help me? I may know someone, or maybe I may be the one to give you advice. So being open with your ask, do not ever feel shy. There's so many people out there willing to help you. So whether it's on LinkedIn or a networking event, going there with the intention, being very intentional about networking. And if it is that you're looking for a job in quality, find yourself amongst those people so you can start sharing about your background. And who knows, you may never recognize that somebody may take you under their wings and help forge that path for you. So, quite a bit out there, but those would be the three key things there. Join the orientation, get a mentor from Mill Mentor, definitely work on your connections. And lastly, if I had to give one, informational interviews. So,
Awesome. So we're our time is moving really fast, but before I want to share our screen so that I can lead our intentional members know what exactly we're talking about the Saturday or the orientation. So we did share the link, but this is what it will look like when you head over to register. So be sure that you are coming out here, you RSVP, you sign up. This is Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. That is 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it's still doable for those who are Pacific. So register there. And while you're there, of course, explore additional things. There's so many courses, the podcast, the programs, everything else that is going on, the Act One offers. And so, just join up, linked up and support. But I do want Dr. Nicole, just so in case anybody's watching right now and so kind of go, wait, we're talking about services success, but yet Act One. So give us a little just breakdown the two differences or how they complement each other.
yeah, so on the Act Now side, we help provide that upskilling, reskilling. On the services success, that's the pathway to employers. So
Perfect.
employers that look at us and say, wow, you got all of this great talent. How can we tap into that? So we provide that pathway there to get hired. So think about one as the education side, and then one is the hiring side. So for example, if anybody out there is looking for a job and you want to upskill, you would go to the Act Now side. If you are now ready to be placed, you would come to us and say, okay, I'm looking for a project manager job. Can you help me get placed? Definitely. And then we work with employers. So either they come to us and say, gosh, you know what? We got 20 positions, data analytics. Can you help us train and then place those? So again, giving you a direct pathway to those employers. And if you're in the Maryland area, April 3rd, we have an in person hiring fair, the Maryland Live, but definitely following us on LinkedIn to see those updates of the different programs we have coming out on the employment side.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I love it because you complement everything because I imagine from your learners, from the Act One, all those incredible upskilling options that are being offered to transitioning service members, for spouses, anyone who qualifies. Then once they train, you are already building the database, but also those partnerships with the employers through success, services success. So it is kind of like you have already building that bridge so that when those
Correct. Just
graduates are
creating a
done,
strong pipeline. And think
exactly.
about it. Imagine, as an employer, you get a lot of resumes, right? And some of them aren't really qualified or they're not prepped. So going from prepping someone, it really brings a higher quality candidate for that employer.
I love it. I love it. I love it because that's really, I always tell individuals it's great to go in and get access to all the free ongoing thousand free certifications, but then what are you going to do with it? And I'm glad that the
Exactly.
success will have that complementary sort of a road map for you guys to be able to make those connections. And then now with the complement, also with the complementing them with the resource fairs, on-site networking events for individuals to go and connect. That's fantastic. So Dr. Nicole, let's go really quick to some of the comments. We're almost getting ready to come to an end. I'm
Yeah, I would
so
blast through a couple of these real quick.
sure.
So I see from Garrick here, just really making sure what's the difference. So the Act Now side, as we just noted, is if you want all the free resources to upskill, get your certifications, get your education there. If you're looking for a job, we have employers that are specifically looking for candidates. You tell me you got a clearance, you're looking for cybersecurity analyst, we can help place you based on the open roles that we have with the employers.
Awesome.
Someone asked you, how do we measure success? Well, yeah, it's the number of jobs that we place, the satisfaction scores from the employers. So we have a lot of KPIs in the background there. And the key thing is continuing to work with, again, that upskilling. We're not just throwing out resumes there and
Right.
hoping that the service member or their spouse is going to get something, but actively working if they need to be upskilled, if they need to be prepped before putting them in that role. Now, obviously, some people would come more prepped than others. And let's see. Uh, Offer facilitate advanced certifications. So yes, you'll get those certifications on the Act Now side. How do you support participants pursuing these professional qualifications? So they go through an application process, and we have multiple cohorts per year. So we have HR, project management, CSSP, CompTIA, all of these things. And they would go through a cohort with about, let's say, 15 to 20 members, and very rigorous. This is not, free 99 and just kind of leave it ad lib like that, but
Sure.
making sure that we have a pathway for them with the instructor, with accountability partners to make sure that they succeed. So we provide the education and the exam fee, so it's not just like giving them, the fish and then they're just stuck with it, being able to go all the way through in a short space of
Yes.
time.
Love it. That is great. Full circle support here because we want to ensure it again. The whole point of getting certified, upskill, or just simply start placing you into connections with job is not just to share the link with you and good luck. We really have the intent to make it very mission driven, but also at the end of the day that you either know more, are feeling more confident, but also are connected to great people like Dr. Nicole and all of the great team from Act Now Education, but also Services Success and their employers and database of employers that are out there. Dr. Nicole, we highlighted a few of the questions, but let me go out here to this other monitor to highlight a few comments and saying shout out to some of the members who are watching on in other networks. So I'd like to say hello to Ava, to Ed. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you so much for MC Call Studio for supporting. Share it with your network. Milena, thank you so much. Jennifer, as well as Julie and Sierra, thank you so much for watching. And let's go to our LinkedIn group out here who is also supporting. Thank you so much. Please connect to Dr. Nicole. We did share her LinkedIn as well. Follow everything that she's doing and Act One Education as well. Thank you, Victoria, Ileana. Thank you, Johnny, Anicia, Jenna, Charlie, Alicia, Tanya. Thank you to the Rosary Network for sending us a shout out. For Mike, Sarah, Catherine, Amanda, Giselle, Mariana, and we have so many other great people out there, and on and on. If you are in our digital platform in the neighborhood, we are having our scavenger hunt. Of course, our second day post anniversary. Dr. Nicole, we're giving away some really good swag for our members who are actively in there. So I have Lily here who shared a comment, said, happy anniversary. Thank you for all that you do, community. Bambi also shared a comment and say, thank you, Suad. I really find the website so helpful. And so Act Now is such a great research. I'm exploring it now while watching the webinar. So thank you, Bambi, for posting that and for going over and supporting our friends and partners at Act One. And so we have so many other comments, but just for the sake of time, we just want to ensure that everything is all, everyone else is taken care of, and give Dr. Nicole a couple of more minutes to tell us a little bit more about her call to action. What is our call to action today? How can we help you connect with more community members? Anything you would like our members to remember as we conclude this webinar?
Yeah, I guess I can have a few of them. So, if you're actively trying to figure out what's next for me, find a community like us, being able to share your challenges, have people that can help you guide the way, right? Help you see the trees through the fog. Don't do this alone. Life is not meant to be done on its own. There are so many people out there willing to help you. The community is one, an individual mentor. So, get yourself a mentor. Garrick said, full circle support. You need a lot of support to continue to build you up from mindset to action, accountability to just kind of figuring out which industry. So get a board of advisors, two or three of them, and connect with them on a weekly or a daily basis. Then, if you're actively looking for a job, it's been a while, reach out to me. Let's see what we can get you. And if you know any connections to that you'd like us to tap into to make sure that we can provide a pipeline of talent for those employers, please reach out to me as well. And lastly, if you want to give back, if you want to be part of something that's mission driven and you feel so your tank is filled just helping support people based on your journey, reach out to me too, and we can get you set up either as a mentor or as a volunteer as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And please reach out. There's the link for Dr. Nicole. So you can find her, locate her on LinkedIn, follow the great work. That is how you will stay very intentional, connected, and learn about opportunities. And when in doubt, then just log into our Blue Star Careers community in the neighborhood. We'll have all the follow-up resources, the link for this webinar, as well as Dr. Nicole. LinkedIn. If you are scrolling right now or you're driving or you're heading somewhere and you're like, I have no way to write, don't worry, we'll got you. Just log into our Blue Star Careers community in the neighborhood. We'll have all those resources available for you, and we can send you to the right place where you need to enroll, engage, and start collaborating with Ag One Education, but also with Service to Success if you're an employer partner or a resource who wants to support and mentor other members. So thank you so much for watching. Any last thoughts, Dr. Nicole? Thank you so much for your service and for supporting this very intentional work that we're doing this month.
Yeah, I would say, we started with a comment of a buffet. It can feel overwhelming how much information is out there, but looking to see, at least understand what path you're looking. Are you coming back to work? Are you looking to leverage skills and build off of there? Don't get into analysis paralysis or, oh my gosh, what do I do next? Have some sort of a plan. Start with the end in mind and work backwards and filling in with either education, the mentorship, networking, so you know exactly what is the tactic to be doing to ultimately achieve the goal that you seek. Thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. I love it. That's how I sometimes get more stuff and more productivity. Start with the end and work your way
Yes.
backwards. So thank you so much for all that great insight, for your collaboration, but most importantly, all the great work that you do externally to support our military community. And so again, please post, comment, share it with your network, pay it forward. Don't keep it this all to yourself. The more we all share, tag, and collaborate, the more we're going to help advocate for everyone in our community. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week, another purposeful webinar. And thank you, Dr. Nicole, for your time today. Let's go and hire more people and connect them with career success.